arrest.
Ferguson in flames. The combustible reaction to a grand jury's decision not to charge a white policeman who gunned down and killed a black teenager at the height of last summer. The authorities knew there would be a backlash. They didn't know it would be like this. Michael Brown didn't know either when he strolled into this convenience store on August the 9th and allegedly intimidated staff into handing over a fistful of small cigars that within minutes he would be dead in the street, shot and killed by police officer Darren Wilson, who fired a dozen rounds at the unarmed 18-year-old, hitting him with at least half of them. The young man's body lay where it fell for 4 hours in the late summer heat as officers investigated what happened. The killing set off a cycle of violent protest in the Ferguson area of St. Louis and reopened the festering wound of race relations in America.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
In the days and weeks that followed Michael Brown's death, the authorities struggled to contain the demonstrations. There was widespread looting and destruction and scores of arrests. The National Guard was mobilised to assist the beleaguered local police force. The teenager's family convinced Michael had been trying to surrender when he was shot.
Whatever that took place there had nothing to do with an individual getting down on his hands and knees, raising his hands in the air and saying, "Don't shoot." This is a universal call for I surrender. And I can hear my cousin's voice right now as I speak saying, "Don't shoot." Yet and still the officers stepped to him and shot him is what we're hearing from officer. And that is wrong.
Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot!
Hands up, don't shoot became the slogan of the protests. The Brown family engaging not just a lawyer to fight for what they believed was justice, but their own pathologist who questioned the police line that Officer Wilson was acting in self-defense.
The shot could have come from the back, because if I'm standing here walking along and get shot from that direction, you see I pull my arm up, it's in that same general area. The arm is a very mobile part of your body. So it also could have occurred when he was putting his hands up. So I put my hands up and you see where that wound is at. It could have happened if he put his arms across in a defensive manner.
On the streets, Ferguson's black majority community felt they were being treated as second-class citizens in their own town.
This ain't no new situation. It's just overboard. This been going on in this county for years.
And they're tear gassing, the people that are supporting the cause. But why didn't they tear gas him? At least he still would have been alive. You know what I'm saying? You had to shoot and kill him, after he surrendered? No, that's not a robbery. That's murder.
Darren Wilson, the police officer who shot and killed Michael Brown, has not been back on duty since the shooting. His fate in the hands of the 12 members of the grand jury. In his evidence to them, the policeman explained how he struggled with the teenager as he was getting out of his car. When I grabbed him, the only way I can describe it is I felt like a 5-year-old holding on to Hulk Hogan, he said. I said, "Get back or I'm going to shoot you." He immediately grabs my gun and says, "You're too much of a pussy to shoot me." Wilson goes on, "I shoot a series of shots. I don't know how many I shot. I just shot it," he says. I shoot another round of shots. Again, I don't recall how many it was or if I hit him every time. Later, Wilson adds, "At this point it looked like he was almost bulking up to run through the shots, like it was making him mad that I'm shooting at him." Then Wilson details the final exchange. "I saw the last one go into him, and then when it went into him, the demeanour on his face went blank. The aggression was gone. It was gone. I knew he stopped. The threat was stopped." It's a story the grand jury obviously believed.
After their exhaustive review of the evidence, the grand jury deliberated over 2 days, making their final decision. They determined that no probable cause exists to file any charge against Officer Wilson and returned a no true bill on each of the 5 indictments. The physical and scientific evidence examined by the grand jury, combined with the witness statements supported and substantiated by that physical evidence, tells the accurate and tragic story of what happened.
Trying to turn over the police vehicle immediately.
Not to charge Michael Brown's killer with any offence at all quickly led to the most intense and violent protests Ferguson has seen since the shooting.
I really don't have any hesitation in telling you that I didn't see a lot of peaceful protest out there tonight, and I'm disappointed about that. I'm not saying there weren't folks out there that were out there for the right reason. I'm not saying that wasn't the case, but I am saying that unfortunately this spun out of control. And frankly, what I'm seeing tonight, and I have been up there all evening, right in the middle of it, along with Captain Johnson, what I've seen tonight is probably much worse than the worst night we ever had in August.
Appeals for calm from the president down, falling on deaf ears.
We need to recognize that the situation in Ferguson speaks to broader challenges that we still face as a nation. The fact is, in too many parts of this country, a deep distrust exists between law enforcement and communities of color.
The teenager's mother, Leslie, was beside herself as the news came through.
Everybody want me to be calm. Do you know how them bullets hit my son? What they did to his body as they hit his body?
You deserve to be angry, baby.
Nobody had to live through what I had to live through.
Michael Brown's stepfather furiously stoking the protests. The unrest went on for hours. Gunfire clearly audible in the darkness. Police using tear gas attempted to disperse the demonstrators. What they achieved was a dispersal of the problem. The looting and fire-raising simply spread to more districts of the city. Civil rights leaders said the grand jury decision was a travesty.
I've been out involved in civil rights all my life. We have seen cases go ways that we felt were right and ways that we felt was wrong. I've never seen a prosecutor hold a press conference to discredit the victim.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
In Ferguson, even the peaceful protesters were at a loss to describe what had happened and what it meant for them and their families.
I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I have a son, so I'm hurt. What am I to tell my son when he grows up?
Did you expect this?
Yeah, I did.
But you still hoped that it would be different?
You try and have hope, but this is what happens.
We just hope for one time that our lives will matter, that somebody would see that our lives are valuable. But it didn't happen that way, just like it hasn't happened before.
They put their badge on and they exploit their power.
The damage to Ferguson's reputation, fixtures and fittings was done under the cover of darkness. But daylight exposed a broken city, the physical manifestation of a deeper social malaise, which is likely to take much longer to cure than the buildings will take to reconstruct.